prova. 1, 2, 3, prova, sa.
Allora, facciamo così, cominciamo dalla slide 0, io poi taglio tutto.
Ma no, ma ripartiamo da capo.
Sì, vai, riparti da
Sì, no, tagli questa parte qua, certo.
Taglio tutto, boh.
Ok.
Sì, ho sentito.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, pipì.
Chiudo la videocamera, te la riapro e la condividi e poi andare.
Secondo me stavo parlando con il microfono del monitor, allora.
Sì,
Ok.
Domani ci siamo un attimo. Allora, ti chiudo la videocamera e ti mando la richiesta.
Ok.
E poi puoi andare diretto perché già live. Silenzio tutto.
Welcome to this webinar about erosion control. How to prevent soil erosion while promoting the establishment of vegetation. I'm Pietro Pezzano, Technical Expertise Center of Excellence for Geosynthetic and MACCAFERI Business Unit here in Officine MACCAFERI. Today, after a brief introduction, we will talk about erosion control, the research, our solution, and our design software. After that, we add to this webinar a session about the environmental sustainability of our geosynthetic solution, with a particular focus on microplastic and durability of that. And at the end, we will talk about also our building information models of all our products. As usual, we have our live question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So if you have any question about this presentation, I invite you to write your question using the Ask a Question feature that you can find on the right-hand side of your PC. So let's begin about something about the vegetation. The vegetation and the source of biodiversity is something fundamental for life in the world because storing and releasing carbon and also maintain balance of gases in the air that we breathe. And also take care of the position of the soil, because with their root, they prevent the washed away of the soil. The soil erosion is something that occurs when the topsoil of your structure, roads, and so on will be moved out by wind, storm water, runoff, and so on. And this causes the loss of soil, and this creates a huge problem that today is becoming more and more sensitive. And for this reason, the engineers are called to find some solution for this problem that could stop the erosive force of wind and rainwater. And to prevent this soil loss is fundamental to promoting the vegetation growth. Let me talk about my company. Our company, Officine MACCAFERI, is more or less worldwide, with more of 100 sales office and with more than 3,000 employees. We have also 23 production facilities all over the world, and we are organizing more than 60 subsidiaries. And MACCAFERI is well known for its solution and for the development of our products and so on. And today we have also our MACCAFERI Innovation Center based in Bolzano, Italy, where we could go with our research and development team for new solution and new product. And today I will talk about research and some study that we developed with MACCAFERI Innovation Center about the erosion control. The erosion control is something that MACCAFERI deals since years, and also we improve our knowledge about our solution, and we develop our sustainable solution to prevent the soil loss and enhance the vegetation growing, thanks to the test done by TRI Environmental, Colorado State University, and also about some research that we asked to the University degli Studi di Milano. We help nature to grow. The growth of the vegetation, we know that is something fundamental to prevent the soil loss. So for this reason, we decide to focus a little bit on the requirement for the erosion control solutions to enhance the possibility of the vegetation to grow. And in particular, we asked to the Professor Bischetti, head of the Department of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences here in Italy at the University of Milan, to prepare a report that shows us the relationship between erosion control and the erosion control products and the vegetation growth. So now I ask the staff to send to show you the video where the Professor Bischetti explained this research to us.
Lo studio che abbiamo effettuato presso il Dipartimento di Scienze Agrarie e Ambientali dell'Università degli Studi di Milano è uno studio che si incentra su quello che è il rapporto tra il successo vegetazionale e i prodotti utilizzati in ambito antierosivo. È noto da molto tempo come la vegetazione possa essere un efficace strumento per contrastare l'erosione sia a livello di versante sia a livello di sponda fluviale. Ci sono diversi fattori che hanno un effetto su quello che è lo sviluppo della vegetazione. Essenzialmente quelli più importanti sono i fattori che sono legati al clima, o meglio al microclima, e tra questi direi in particolare sono l'umidità, la temperatura e l'irraggiamento. La crescita di vegetazione può essere influenzata da alcuni parametri dei prodotti antierosivi, essenzialmente attraverso l'influenza dei fattori della germinazione e poi della successiva crescita. Quindi direi il Light Penetration Index, lo spessore, il colore, il peso, la capacità di trattenere o meno acqua e l'uniformità spaziale e anche temporale del prodotto. La combinazione che hanno i geomat, basata principalmente sul Light Penetration Index, ma anche sullo spessore e l'uniformità sia nello spazio del tempo delle caratteristiche, sono sicuramente i fattori che garantiscono meglio il successo vegetazionale. Nella categoria dei geomat, MACCAFERI ha sicuramente alcune caratteristiche che a mio modo di vedere sono interessanti. Da una parte la possibilità di cambiare il colore, e questo ha un effetto importante su quelle che sono le temperature, che in alcuni ambienti è necessario ridurre, quindi ridurre l'assorbimento di radiazione solare, e altre volte invece abbiamo la necessità di sfruttare l'irraggiamento solare per aumentare le temperature. Un'altra caratteristica che mi sembra molto interessante è quella di poter essere costruiti sulla presenza di una rete, sia sintetica che metallica, e questo permette di avere una buona combinazione tra peso, spessore, light penetration e uniformità spaziale delle caratteristiche.
Okay, thanks to Professor Bischetti for this explanation for us. And now we want to check what influenced the growth of vegetation on slopes. So as Professor Bischetti said, in the research they found some key factor related to the product, okay? And this key factor helps the vegetation to grow. So a good solution have to take care of the site-related situation, like soil humidity, soil temperature, water runoff, and so on, but also the different behavior related to the product could increase or decrease the vegetation growing. So it's not the best that you have to achieve, but it's the balance between these performances that give you the best erosion control solution. So which are the erosion control solutions available on the market? In the research done by Professor Vischetti, he tried to collect all the bibliography available on the different erosion control products. And he defines 4 main categories of product. The biomat, that are bidimensional fabric made of biodegradable natural fibers, the geomat, that are 3-dimensional shape mat made with polymeric filament and sometimes reinforced with geogrids, composite, that are all the multi-layer product where you have a geogrid or a reinforcement coupled with a blanket in order to improve the soil coverage of the product, and the geotextiles that are typical, some woven planar geotextile that are used to cover the slopes. For all that families, the university study underline the behaviors related to the performance related to the vegetation growing. And as you can see in this spider graph, for every single product, you get some good behavior and some other one. As you can see, the family with the best performance is the family of the geomat that guarantee a good thickness with also a very high light penetration, the uniformity of the products that are produced in a factory, plus the control of the runoff due to its ruggedness, and also the possibility to manage the weight and the water absorption. But the best performance for the geomat are on this parameter. As you can see, to have the better performance, you need a good balance between these behaviors. So based on this research and on the test done, we work to find an optimized erosion control solution. An erosion control solution not only sustainable, but also durable. And this is very, very important, especially for reduce the maintenance on your structure. So the solution of MACCAFERI is the MACMAT R, that is a reinforced geomat that is available with different thickness, with a very high porosity that guarantee a high light penetration index, that is perfectly suitable for the use on slope, river banks, canals, and so on. And should be also be coupled with geotextile and or geomembranes. The good behavior in terms of vegetation growing of our MACMAT-R was tested during our research in the Colorado State University. We start some tests to make an analysis of the shear forces in a channel for a riverbank, and this kind of test was performed with unvegetated and vegetated product. It means that the soil loss analysis was done also with a product with the vegetation growth in. In the test procedure, the advice for this kind of material for all the erosion control products that you want to test is to give at least 6 weeks of vegetation in order to wait enough to have a stable vegetation on it. But for our materials, since 2 weeks, the vegetation growth was completely full, and the product was completely covered by it. And just to give you an idea, after 4 weeks, was requested to cut the grass in order to maintain the vegetation, because the vegetation speed was so much that that needed a maintenance, I want to say. So the best performance typically is achieved by 6 weeks, because more or less at 6 weeks you achieve the 60% of the vegetation growing that you will have in 1 year. This achievement for us was more or less after only 2 weeks. And this gives also the opportunity to make a correlation between the light penetration index and the speed of the vegetation growing. So as you can see, our MACCAFERI product get with a very high light penetration between 40 and 70%, guarantee a very fast vegetation growing. So we decided to move from the geomat family to our specific product behavior. And we ask also to check the possibility to improve the geomat family with our MACCAFERI product. So as you can see in our MACCAFERI reinforced with a polymeric geogrid, we have also an increasing of the behavior due to the possibility to change the color of the geomat. And this is something that helps to manage the UV radiation and the temperature of the soil, but for some essences is very important to guarantee a good vegetation growing. And in our MACCAFERI reinforced with a double twist wire mesh, we could also improve the weight of the product, and that also increase the adhesion between the erosion control product and the soil, so reduce the soil loss of the entire solution. This is the reason why we are talking about sustainable solutions for erosion control that are optimized. So this kind of product increase the shear resistance along the soil surface thanks to the reinforcement, protect the topsoil from the washout thanks to the geomat, boost the growth of vegetation due to his high light penetration index, and also could be engineerized and achieve some specific project needs with the use of geogrid of DT mesh inside. Here, for instance, you have a case history, a before and after. In that case, the MACCAFERI was used in a landfill capping in order to guarantee the stability of the soil coverage. And as you can see, only with a few centimeters of soil installed over it, after few months, the slope looks like a hill that is completely environmental friendly and insert in the context. So this is only to show how it looks like. Another huge project that I want to show you right now is about 328,000 square meters of MACCAFERI installed in Tanzania in a railway project. Was built a huge railway track that connect all the country in the center of Africa. So this will connect Tanzania to Congo, Rwanda, Uganda, and so on with the Indian Ocean. So it's a strategic railway structure. In that case, the use of MACCAFERI was to protect the embankment from the soil loss from erosion, so to minimize also the maintenance in terms of stability and to avoid the soil loss. You know that in that tropic climates, you could have some huge rainfalls that used to create some problems to the stability of the embankment. In that case, as you can see, the MACCAFERI still was installed and is very fast and very easy to install. You have simple to unroll it and to make some anchors according to the installation guidance. And you can see after few months how the embankment looks like. The vegetation grows and is practically everything is green and beautiful. Okay, now let's talk briefly about our design software. The design software that we develop are mainly two and are based on two different kind of erosion. The first is the erosion due to the weather, so wind, rainfall, and so on. The second one is the erosion due to the water flow, so typically for channel, river banks, and so on. For the first one, we will use our design software MACCAFERI, and for the second one, we will use our Macra Studio software. The MACCAFERI is based on the revised universal soil loss equation, where this equation is briefly widely used in US and was also sponsored by IECA, and is based on the performance of the erosion control product measured with some tests done in lab. So we test our MACCAFERI product in the TRI lab with a full-scale test in order to get the C factor, that is the factor you have to use in the Rusle equation. And also in our Macra software tool, this is something a little bit, I would want to say, more complex. The Macra software was based on the Colorado State University test, that are some tests done in channel in order to understand which are the highest shear action that could be overseen by the product. In that kind of software, we can change the geometry of the channel of the river, and also we can use not only our MACCAFERI product, but also our Reno matrices. So, and you can also make the design in vegetated or unvegetated conditions. So at time 0 is unvegetated, after 1 year is in vegetated condition. So you can check the different behavior of your project during the time. So for the evaluation of the performance, we make some tests according to the ISTM standard D6460. But the objective of the test of the solution was to neutralize and absorb the hydraulic force due to storm water, and reducing the soil particle lost due to the scour mechanism. And the failure criteria of the test is the evaluation of the solution fails when you have a soil loss equal or greater than 0.5 inches behind the product, and also some limit value of the failure was observed, and the impact of the vegetation was taken into account. So now, after the test, we prepare these graphs that can show you the behavior of our MACCAFERI product compared with the time. We have an ISO fluid graph that can show you the behavior of the product related to the flood generation and to the allowable shear stress applied. As you can see, you have a dotted line that represent the behavior of the unvegetated product, and a straight line that represent the behavior of the vegetated product. And as you can see, the shear stress that could be absorbed by the product increased so much in the vegetated condition. So for this reason, we prepare also this other graph that make a correlation between the time and the allowable shear stress related to the vegetation growing. So as you can see, with the time, you have an increase of the vegetation over into the product. And after 6 weeks, more or less, we achieve a very, very good performance. That increase up to 1 year when the vegetation is completely grow up. And this 3D graph show you the behavior related to the time, the flow duration, and the allowable shear stress applied. So just to explain what is very important for us is that when you have a product that permit and increase the vegetation growing, the performance of this material will improve so much with the time. So in this comparison, we have in green our MACCAFERI and in brown another product with a low light penetration index. As you can see at time 0, this material could perform also a little bit better in terms of allowable shear stress, but with the time and also with the degradation, with performance decrease. If you compare after the vegetation growing, the MACCAFERI achieve a very high peak of shear stress allowable. A product with a low light penetration index could not achieve the same performances. Another interesting thing is that with the pass of the time, with the MACCAFERI, you have an increase of the performance that raise up very fast due to its behavior of vegetation growing. For the other product, you have a behavior very similar, is like a translation of the behavior that you have without the vegetation, and also you can't achieve some peak of resistance that you can reach also with MACCAFERI. This is due to the fact that the MACCAFERI is also a reinforcement for the root. So after a few days, you don't have only the MACCAFERI that protect the riverbank, but also is the system of the root plus the MACCAFERI that guarantee the stability, and that could achieve a very high shear resistance. So this is at time 0, this is after 6 weeks, and this is after 1 year. So our solution is the most durable because thanks to the vegetation growing, guarantee a performance through the time. And another very important feature that you can have with our products is that you can work in combination. So if you need a product that can guarantee since the beginning the highest performance, you have to move to a Renomatrix Plus. In that case, you can use this in combination with MACCAFERI, used as a covering of the Renomatrix. This could create some vegetative pockets that helps the vegetation to growing into the product and guarantee the best performance. So here you have the graph for the MACCAFERI without in unvegetated condition. Here you have the curve in green, the curve of a MACCAFERI characteristic curve after 1 year of vegetation in vegetated condition. But if you want to have a performance that starts since the beginning with a very high performance, you have to add a Renomatrix Plus. With a Renomatrix Plus, as you can see, the performance is stable because it is guaranteed by the mass of the product and the stone inside. So the difference in this row is due to the thickness of the product. Starting from the orange one is for the 17 centimeter mattress, and the top one, the blue one, is for the 30 centimeter mattress. So if you make a comparison and you mix the performance of our MACCAFERI with the performance of the Renomatrix and you install it in combination, you achieve the best solution. And the best solution comes from the very high performance for low flow duration of our MACCAFERI after 1 year, combined with the stiff performance of Renomatrix. And the combo Renomatrix plus MACCAFERI gives to you a solution that could be with the best performance for flood duration up to 60 hours, could guarantee an allowable shear stress between that start from 800 and could be guaranteed over the time up to 400 Pascal. And this is very, very interesting if you want to find the best balanced performance for the erosion control of the rivers and so on. So now some final remarks. First of all, I explained to you how MACCAFERI used to deal with this kind of problems in general. For every project, for every design that you need, you know that in MACCAFERI you can find some expert of geotechnical, hydraulic, and environmental engineering that can support you in your project phase, in every of your project phase up to the installation of the job site. And it's important to give to you feedback and to help you to design your solution, also to certify the performance of our materials. For this reason, we decided to invest in our product and to invest in the certification for the evaluation of the environmental impact of our materials. So we have the EPD certification for the most of our products, and in particular in that case for our MACCAFERI and for our Renomatrices. So the EPD is published online, and you can find there all the values that you need to make a life cycle assessment of your proposal, of your design. And also the EPD is one of the certificates that you can find in our building information modeling object. So we prepare also a complete library of our product as a BIM object that you can easily download from the BIM store. And in the BIM store, you don't only have a library, but you have a certified library by the BBA certificate. So now I want to show you something about the EPD, how to use it in order to make your design. The EPD certificate is a certification that is done by a third party that comes to your factory and certify your production and take care and make a deeply life cycle assessment study on the production of your product. At the end of this study, they define some parameters that are fixed in the EPD certificate in order to evaluate the impact of your production, of the production of your product on the environmental. Between the all environmental performance, as a MACCAFERI, today we want to focus on 4 of that. The first one is the global warming potential. It is the measure of how much heat a greenhouse gas traps in the atmosphere up to a specific time horizon relative to the carbon dioxide. I have to read these sentences because it's very, I want to say very specific and very particular. So sorry if I'm reading right now from the slide. We have also the acidification potential that provide a measure of the decrease in pH value of rainwater and fog, which has the effect of ecosystem damage. The eutrophication potential that provide a measure of nutrient enrichment in aquatic or terrestrial environmental, which leads to ecosystem damage. And the particulate matter, it is defined as a mixture of solid and liquid particles of organic and inorganic substances resulting from human activities and suspended in the atmosphere. These four environmental performance indexes are published in our technical data sheet, and also you can find it in our full APD certificate for the MACCAFERI that you can have a look, just make a photo of this QR code. Okay, now, as I promised you, we want to focus a little bit on the microplastic behavior, because it's something that raised up in the last years and is very important also for us. First of all, we have to define what microplastic is. Microplastic is all the plastic particles with a size that is less than 5 millimeters. So it's not something very micro, it's some piece of plastic that you can find in the environmental. First of all, we have to define which are the main sources of microplastic that we have in our world. And according to the National Oceanographic Center, the most of that comes from tires. So the 38% of the microplastic comes from the use of the tires of the cars, trucks, and so on. The 28% of that, the main source, are pellets that you can find in the production of the plastic. You have also an 8% that comes from textile, not geotextile, textiles, that typically comes to the water because in your washing machine you get some loss of fibers during the washing treatment. And an additional 7% comes from the road markings. So probably something that comes from the from when you have some traffic that go on the road marks, they remove it and they create some microplastic. The rest is a 9% of others, and only inside this 9% of others could be the rest of all the plastic production. So is not so much. This start to create us also some question about our product, and we start to study a lot all the production process, but also the life cycle assessment of our solution. And first of all, we have to understand how geosynthetic can be a source of microplastic. You have to know that the most of the microplastic comes from the degradation of the plastic. And the degradation of the plastic is related to the UV exposition of it. But the geosynthetics mainly are installed under the soil, so are completely covered. And this is something that guarantee long-term performance certified up to 120 years. So the first source has not to be considered. The second one is damage due to physical and chemical properties transformation. And once again, this is something that occurs in specific products that are not engineered to be durable. Consider that all our geosynthetic products are under few tests and are under certification process that guarantee the highest standard for the production, also the durability in extreme condition of pH, environmental, and so on. And we evaluate the durability of our product for more than 120 years. So it's very hard to have some damaging on that kind of product. And so also the production of microplastic. Also, you have to consider that in the maintenance process of our materials should be possible to remove it at the end of the design life of the structure and to recycle it as a plastic. Also because this kind of material comes from virgin polymers and so on. But it's not only a meaning of a reduction of production in microplastic, Another very important behavior that we need to underline for all the geosynthetic solution is that this kind of material typically reduce a lot the environmental impact of the engineering solution. So this is due to the fact that they are very easy to install. So the installation is fast. It means you have to use less equipment to install it, and you spend less time compared to a different solution to install the geosynthetic. And also this means that you can increase the speed of the construction, and also this improve the performance of your structure and reduce the maintenance of it. All that things are really sustainable, increase the sustainability of your design of your structure, and also conserving the natural environmentals of your designs. Obviously, today, the research on the microplastic are still quite limited in number and content. So as a MACCAFERI and as a producer, we are every day looking to the highest standard to protect the environmental, and also we are every day challenging these questions and try to find the best environmental solution. Okay, just to close this presentation very fast, I want to show you something about the building information modeling, and especially MACCAFERI. This is not only a way to represent our product in a 3D view, but is a way to make a design according to the parameters and to the information that you can insert into your model. So in a BIM object, you have not only the geometry of the product and the drawings of it, but also the performance, the technical data sheet, the maintenance manual, the certification. Everything will be into the design since the beginning. And that helps a lot to make a design that avoid error and problems on site, and also give to you the opportunity to make a very precise bill of quantity and to have a complete maintenance information already into the project. Here you can see a design of a TerraMesh wall done with our TerraMesh unit and some paralink reinforcement. Okay, so now we are near to the finish. So I want to underline once again how we promote an holistic approach to the selection of the most suitable erosion control solution. I want to underline that all our geosynthetic products are the most tried and tested in the world. So this is a guarantee of the quality of our solution. And also we can provide several case history to show you how our solutions are cost effective. And now I have only a few minutes for your questions. So I ask the staff to share with me the question collected during the session. Okay. And I hope that you enjoy this webinar and that you want to check our solution and try to use also our product in your design. So as a solution provider, I remember you that if you need some assistance on a project, you can write in the chat box project, and we will contact you with our MACCAFERI team directly with the people that take care of your area, the business developer of your area. Okay, first question is about the grass. Is there a specific type of grass which MACMAT use? So mainly is not like that. Sometimes it could be helpful to use the hydroseeding. It depends on the site-specific conditions. So the essence has to be something that grow up easily in your area. So according to the climate, to the weather, and to the environmental situation of a job site. By the way, it works with mainly all the essences that can grow in your zone without any problem. Another question about what is the life of erosion control? I think that this is about the design life of the solution. So mainly you have to consider that if you use some natural fiber product for the erosion control, the design life of this solution will be only of few months, not more than 1 year, okay? And typically the degradation of this material is quite fast. So after this period, you don't have any more reinforcement function, but simply will be the vegetation that take care of the erosion control. With our MACCAFERI solution, you get some boost to the durability of your solution, also because you reinforce the root of the vegetation. So it depends on the site specific once again, but typically will go up to 5 years more or less. Of course, it's something that you have to evaluate for any site specific situation. Can you recommend solution if growth vegetation is low? Depends, something that you have to evaluate. So typically with the reinforced geomat, you still have a protection of the soil loss due to the geomat itself. But of course, if you don't have a vegetation growing, the solution will be a little bit less effective in terms of erosion control. By the way, if it takes more time, it's not an issue, because in the mean period will be the geomat that take care of the soil loss. May I have a MACCA software? Thank you. Okay, all the software of MACCAFERI are available free of charge. If you want to have some additional info or the link to download the software, you can write in the chat box, and you can write software, or you can write MACCA, and we will contact you with the link to download it. Another question. Can MACCAFERI share the slide with us? Of course, probably you already have it available, so you can download the slide directly right now from GoToWebinar. By the way, if you need it, you can ask us and we will share it with you. Okay, I have, okay, we can go ahead a little bit. Another question. I would like to discuss a project with erosion control issue. I have a wet, okay. So for specific project, I think it's better to be contacted separately. So we will, the business developer will contact you about that. Can this erosion control product be incorporated into MC slopes? Yes, of course. So typically, we used to provide an erosion control product directly into our unit. So for instance, we have a DT mesh product that is called Green Terra Mesh, that already have installed on the front face an erosion control system. Otherwise, if you, for instance, build a wraparound structure, and you with the geogrids only, and you need to make a finishing with an erosion control product, you can use for sure our MACCAFERI. Okay, I think that I'm waiting for another question. Okay, the last one. After that, I remember you that all the questions that we receive will be answered directly by email from us if I don't reply to you live right now, because it's not possible to reply to all the questions due to the lack of time of the presentation. So the last one is composite and geomat erosion control is known to trap certain wildlife, especially snakes. How does the MACCAFERI deal with this issue? Okay, you have to know that according to the wildlife that you have in your area, you can use the erosion control also to protect the structure. For instance, we use our MACCAFERI steel as a defense against the beavers when they used to make tunnels into the margins of the channels. So this is due to the fact that the vegetation will grow, but they can't cut with their teeth the DT mesh. This kind of product, in terms of snakes, I want to say, is not so aggressive like fabric. It means that the high light penetration that give the opportunity to the vegetation to grow gives also the opportunity to the snake to go out. So it's stiff enough to guarantee the stability of the slope, but is environmental friendly also for the wildlife, I want to say. So with the last question, I want to thank you all. I hope that you enjoy this webinar, and I give you some regards, and I hope that you will join us for the next one. Thank you, and bye-bye.